Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to give you that knowledge shortcut you need. Today, we're looking inside the medicine cabinet, but maybe in a way you haven't thought about before. We're finding some of the most powerful future cures might actually be hidden in the drugs we already have. So, our mission today is to really unpack AI repurposing. That's using artificial intelligence to find new uses for medicines that are already approved, already out there. It's about turning that slow, sometimes decades-long process of drug discovery into something faster, smarter, more like a data-driven science. We're basically asking, how can a computer look at an old pill and find a brand new cure inside it?
Yeah, and what's really cool about this, I think, is that the AI itself, the methods, they can get pretty complex under the hood. But the basic idea, it's surprisingly simple. Drug repurposing is just about finding a new job for a drug that's already approved, already known to be safe. But the real power, the disruption, comes from the head start it gives us. Think about it. Getting a totally new drug approved takes, what, 10, 15 years? And costs billions, like $2.6 billion on average. AI repurposing lets us leapfrog a huge chunk of that. Because these drugs have already passed safety tests in humans, we get a much faster, much less risky path to getting vital treatments to patients.
Yeah.
To you, faster.
Okay, so finding new uses for old drugs isn't totally new, right? I mean, historically, it was more about luck, serendipity, Viagra. Wasn't that originally for heart conditions?
Exactly. That's a classic example. It used to rely on those kinds of lucky accidents or maybe decades of very focused, specific research.
So why bring AI into it now? What makes AI so essential for this?
Well, in a word, scale. The sheer mind-boggling complexity of human biology. You've got hundreds of thousands of pathways, proteins, genes, all interacting. And then you have thousands of existing drugs trying to manually figure out all the possible new connections. It's just impossible for humans to do systematically. AI can handle that scale.
Right, the data is just too massive.
Precisely. And AI doesn't just handle the scale. It gives us, I'd say, three really significant advantages that are changing the whole game in pharmaceutical R&D.
Okay, let's break those down. The first one seems pretty clear, speed and cost. But how much faster are we really talking?
We are talking dramatically faster. Think about moving from an idea generated by the AI on a computer screen to actually starting a clinical trial in a matter of months.
Months instead of years.
Instead of the years it takes just to design, synthesize, and do initial lab testing on a brand new molecule.
Yeah.
So yeah, cures get to people much faster and the initial R&D cost slashed. Okay, because you skip a lot of that early, expensive, often failing safety testing. Which brings us to the second big advantage, risk mitigation. This is huge. See, the biggest reason new drugs fail in development, the number one hurdle, is unexpected safety problems that pop up in early human trials, phase 1.
Ah, okay.
With repurposing, we start with drugs that already have a known safety record in people. So that massive risk, it's largely taken off the table right from the start. It's inherently de-risked.
Okay, speed, lower cost, lower risk. What's
Yeah.
the third one? You said it's where the AI really shows its intelligence,
Wow.
uncovering hidden connections.
Exactly. This is where it gets really interesting. Human researchers, brilliant as they are, tend to be focused, right? They might spend a career on one specific disease pathway or target.
Makes sense. Specialization.
Right. But AI isn't limited like that. It's designed to look across everything. It integrates vast, diverse data sets, genomic data, patient health records, clinical trial results, scientific papers, you name it. By pulling all that together, the AI algorithms can spot subtle, really non-obvious links between a drug and a completely different disease. Connections that a human researcher following a specific hypothesis might never even think to look for. It's like searching the entire mine for gold, not just under the one spotlight where you expect to find it.
Okay, so AI can see these hidden links, but how does it actually do it? It can't just be comparing lists, right? What are the main ways it operates, like the strategies it uses?
Yeah, there are a couple of main approaches. We can simplify them a bit. The first one, you could call it the key and lock method.
Key and lock. Oh,
Think of a drug as a key. It was designed to fit a specific biological lock in the body, maybe a particular protein that causes a disease. What AI does here is called virtual screening. It basically takes thousands, even millions, of existing drug keys and computationally tests them against thousands of different locks, proteins, or targets involved in other diseases. It simulates, in the computer, whether any of those old keys might happen to fit perfectly into a new, unexpected lock.
so it's like trying every key on every door digitally and super fast.
That's a good way to put it. Way faster and cheaper than doing it physically in a lab. Then there's the second strategy, which is maybe even broader. Let's call it the body's roadmap method.
Okay, body's roadmap.
Yeah, instead of just the key and the lock, this looks at the bigger picture. biological pathway.
Pathways, like a chain reaction in our cells, like dominoes falling.
Exactly like dominoes, or like interconnected roads on a huge map within our cells. A disease might be like a faulty route or a traffic jam on that map. What the AI does is analyze that entire map. It looks for shared routes or common problems between different diseases.
Can you give an example? How does finding a shared path help?
Sure, let's say you have two very different conditions, maybe an autoimmune skin condition like psoriasis and a certain type of cancer.
Mhm.
On the surface, totally different. But the AI might analyze the underlying biology, the pathways, and find they both involve, say, runaway cell growth using the exact same cellular machinery, the same road.
Yeah, I see.
So the AI predicts that a drug already approved to block that road for the cancer might also work to block it for the psoriasis. It finds those biological overlaps.
Okay, that makes sense. But analyzing that whole map, testing all those keys, that sounds like it needs some serious computational tools. You mentioned the huge data sets earlier. What's in the AI's toolkit to actually do this?
You're right, it takes powerful tools. The foundation is data mining and integration. The AI has to be able to gather and make sense of all that diverse information, genetics, patient data, literature. It's like a super librarian. But maybe the most crucial organizational tool is the knowledge graph.
Knowledge graph, what's that?
So don't think of it like a simple database or spreadsheet. Imagine a huge 3D interconnected map linking everything known about biology. It explicitly maps the relationships between drugs, diseases, genes, proteins, pathways, all of it. This structure lets the AI see connections, like biological neighborhoods where drugs for diseases you'd think are unrelated actually sit very close together.
Wow, okay. A map of biology?
Pretty much. And then there's another technique, pattern matching. This is less about the biological mechanism, the why, and more about just crunching the numbers.
You mentioned statistical oddities earlier. Is this related to that?
Yes, exactly. The AI can sift through, say, millions of anonymized patient health records, might spot a pattern. Maybe people taking a specific drug for diabetes seem to have a significantly lower rate of developing a certain type of cancer than the general population.
Huh. That doesn't prove the drug prevents cancer, though, right?
No, not on its own. Correlation isn't causation. But that statistical signal, that protective correlation, is incredibly valuable. It flags a potential link that scientists should investigate. It generates a powerful hypothesis for repurposing a connection nobody might have thought to look for otherwise.
This all sounds amazing in theory, knowledge graphs, pathway analysis, but is it actually delivering results? In the real world, can we point to actual successes where this has worked?
Absolutely. This isn't just theoretical anymore. The proof is definitely there. Let's look at a few examples. First up, think about the urgency during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's our first case study. Speed in a crisis. Developing a brand new antiviral drug from scratch that would have taken years we simply didn't have.
Right, the clock was ticking incredibly fast. So how did AI help?
Well, very quickly, we're talking a matter of months. An AI platform from a company called Benevolent AI went to work. It analyzed the known biology of the SARS-CoV-2 virus using its knowledge graph. And it flagged an existing drug, baricitinib, which was already approved for rheumatoid arthritis as a really strong candidate.
Okay, an arthritis drug for COVID. How?
That was the key insight from the AI. It predicted a dual mechanism. First, it suggested baricitinib could actually interfere with the virus getting into our cells. And second, and this was critical, it predicted the drug could also calm down that dangerous hyperinflammation, the cytokine storm, that was causing so much damage.
Ah, so it tackled the virus and the body's overreaction.
Exactly. That system-level prediction coming so quickly from the AI led directly to clinical trials, which were successful, and then it got emergency approval from the FDA. It really showed AI's power when speed is absolutely critical.
Wow, that's a powerful example of speed. Okay, what's next? You mentioned AI tackling complexity.
Yes, our second case study looks at Alzheimer's disease. This is a notoriously complex illness. Decades of research focusing on finding a single magic bullet drug have, frankly, largely failed.
Yeah, it's been a really tough nut to crack.
It has. Because Alzheimer's isn't caused by just one thing failing. It involves multiple issues, inflammation, those amyloid plaques, problems with how brain cells use energy, metabolic stuff. It's complicated. So the AI, instead of looking for one single target, analyzed the whole network of problems in the brain. And it proposed something radically different, a 5-drug combination therapy using existing medicines.
Hold on, 5 drugs at once. Isn't that really complex, potentially more side effects? Why would AI suggest that?
That's the difference between human hypothesis, which often seeks simplicity, and the AI's system-level view. The AI calculated that by carefully combining 5 existing drugs, each already known to be relatively safe, you could simultaneously hit 5 different aspects of the disease pathology. One drug might target inflammation, another cellular energy, another sugar metabolism, and so on. It's a multi-pronged attack, optimized by the AI. It's a strategy a human team might hesitate to even try, because coordinating it seems overwhelming.
That really is a different way of thinking about treatment design. Okay, one more. You mentioned rare diseases.
Right. This one highlights the scale AI can operate at. Case Study 3. Unlocking New Frontiers for Rare Diseases. There are thousands of rare diseases, many affecting just a few people worldwide, and most have 0 approved treatments. It's just not commercially viable usually to develop unique drugs for them.
A huge unmet need.
Massive. So, researchers at Harvard developed an AI tool called TXGNN. They fed it data on about 8,000 existing medicines and cross-referenced them against the biological data for over 17,000 diseases, including thousands of these rare conditions.
So comparing almost everything to everything else, basically.
Pretty much, at a scale that's just staggering. And the results were incredible. The AI suggested potential drug candidates, existing drugs that might work for nearly all the diseases it analyzed.
Wow. For almost all of them.
Almost all. It generated thousands of testable hypotheses instantly. This massively accelerates research for these neglected diseases. We already knew maybe 30% of approved drugs find other uses eventually, but TXGNN showed how AI could systematically uncover those possibilities for potentially all diseases, opening doors where there was basically no hope before. Hashtag tag outro. So if you put it all together, I think the main takeaway here is this. AI is fundamentally changing drug repurposing. It's taking it from something that relied on, luck or slow, specific research and turning it into a systematic, data-driven science. It pulls together biology, chemistry, clinical data at a scale we've never seen before. And that offers real, tangible hope for finding more treatments, more efficiently, more affordably, for everyone.
Yeah, it's hard to overstate the shift. That TXGNN example generating more potential leads in one go than maybe entire research departments could in years, that's just transformative. And we keep coming back to that core benefit. We're starting with drugs we already know are basically safe in humans. It de-risks the whole front end of development.
It really does.
So maybe the provocative thought to leave you with today is this. Look at that Alzheimer's example, the 5-drug cocktail. Or the rare disease work, generating thousands of ideas at once. It suggests the future of medicine might not just be about finding brand new molecules, inventing things from scratch. A huge part of it could be about getting much, much smarter at using the incredible arsenal of medicines we already have, maximizing their potential with intelligence.
Well said. It's about unlocking the hidden value in what's already in our medicine cabinet.